What up? So, I don't know how many of my viewers listen to a man named Sam Harris, who's a neuroscientist and a notable atheist, but I listened to his podcast a fair amount, read a couple of his books. Really smart guy. I like listening to him a lot. And I do recommend reading his books, which is like The End of Faith. Another one I would recommend is Waking Up, a spiritual guide to a spirit, like what is it? Can't even think of the fucking tagline. Uh, a guide to spirituality without religion. That's essentially what Waking Up is. It's a pretty good book. But recently on his podcast, whoa, on his podcast, he talked with this woman who studies like some kind of social sciences with robots. I might be kind of getting the title wrong, but that's essentially kind of what it sounds like. What it is, how people deal with robots, their relationships with them, and dealing with that kind of technology that we have now, which is getting obviously better and better. So much so that we have sex bots on the way. So and even they kind of even mentioned in the podcast about child sex toy robots, and whoa. That's kind of a sketchy subject, if I say so myself. Because, if you want to think about it, okay, does having a child sex bot better than fucking a kid? Well, I do think that's true. I think that having a bot is better than having an actual human child. But the worry for some people would be, does it normalize, I guess might be the word, of having sex with kids? Does it normalize that idea? But who knows? It might not. It might. Who the fuck knows? So that's kind of scary. But I would think that the idea of having it would be healthier for not only for maybe that person, whoever does that shit, versus having sex with an actual kid and taking kids away and raping them and killing them. Having a bot is better, which I would say that's probably true. But yeah, it's the question of, does it become normalized when you do that? Because from what I understand, pedophilia is pretty much incurable. Like you can't get it out of whoever has it, which is unfortunate. You wish that you could just get rid of that, but it doesn't seem like you can. So that sucks. So it's kind of like we have to think of the best ways possible to try and neutralize that kind of behavior as much as possible, and that might include the idea of making child sex bots. That's fucked up, but it might be the way it is. They also kind of mentioned the idea of military and police using more robots in their use. We kind of can probably assume, if it's very well programmed, that a robot soldier is going to be better and more efficient at doing its job than a human. Which I think that's very possible, and that's probably a good thing that we have humans fighting or robots fighting human wars, but because we don't have to worry about casualties. But then you got to worry about starting to think about, well, the population is going to spike up real quick without people dying, because that's really the whole reason why population grows to begin with, is there's too many people being born, not enough people dying. And having robots fight our own wars, it's definitely gonna keep that trend going. So that's kind of shitty in a way. Not only that, but people are saying, if you can program a robot, for a hostage situation, and then it can be programmed to just not shoot, either the terrorists or the hostages at no matter what cost, that'd be good. You don't have to worry about, lethal implications for a hostage situation. You can just send in a robot and it can take care of it without even killing someone. However, what I worry about is people who are in control of military robots or police robots, and because they don't have to worry about killing people themselves, or deal with that, they can just tell a robot to, like, oh, okay, just go genocide those people. I don't know. I maybe I have a darker opinion of higher up military men, but I don't know. I can see that some general would be easier to have more ease to commit genocide, just only because he doesn't have to worry about humans having to do it. He can just rely on a button or a robot or a drone to do it for him, making it all the more easier. So I always look at, when dealing with robots and shit, you always got to look at the people who control them, which are us, and we're not exactly trustworthy. We're not always the most intelligent people. We're not always the most compassionate either, or even empathetic. Or we can be very apathetic. I don't know. That's a scary thing. And personally, call me a crazy person. I watch too many Terminator movies, but I always do worry about, like, computers taking over and just wiping out humanity. You could always say, well, if you program robots to not harm humans, that won't happen. But and that's fair to say. There's maybe even in a kind of Terminator war, there could be robots that naturally do help the humans because they're programmed to, and then there's some robots who are. I would figure the robots who would be more willing to kill humans are the ones who are more self-programming, and they develop their own. I don't know. Guess their own programming themselves, because they have. I think we do have, like, self-programming computers and shit like that, which I find that to be scary because you never know what direction that would go. I guess you could always perhaps set parameters, but I would think that if a computer has the technology to self-program, it could find loopholes around parameters that's been set for them. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah. Anyway, that's just my little rant on AI and robots in the future and all that shit. So, all right, hooray.